Greetings, Patriots, Starseeds Lightworkers, and of course our brave military. Welcome to 1776 United, and we are in a worldwide galactic revolution. Now, I said I was going to stay off for a couple days, but there is just so much coming down. So please forgive me for leading you down a disinformation path. Anyways, today, there's some things that have been going on, and I just want to get everybody up to speed on what's happening now. First of all, there's people that are concerned about all this monitoring, and ICE is going to monitor this, and this is mainly to do with the states and stuff. But to have good people monitoring everything is okay, because we have a lot of bad people out there, and they have to identify them so they can, if they're doing anything malicious or premeditated violence, they have to know, right? So for us good people, it's not a concern for us, right? Okay, and I'm for that. Okay, as long as you're not doling out. I mean, to have these, people that are in debates or splitting hairs over certain situations, they're not concerned about that. They are concerned for the potential hits and false flags or whatever's going to be out there. Now, they just took down a hit team that was going to target, or that was targeting a daycare center. I don't know where it was. I forget, but without this information, we're not going to get in front of all this stuff, right? Okay, again, I want to jump onto another subject. My followers out there, and there is, you're all good people, okay? And you are basically the tip of the spear because you're listening to my content. And you will soon be called upon, not so much on a physical end of it, but on a spiritual end, to help 90% of the planet regain their consciousness, if you know what I mean. Okay? So I am here as the elder, intuitive. I woke up a long time ago. I've been fighting this for a long time, since I was at least 17 years old. And even before, I had, I wasn't doing remote, viewing, but I would get pictures in my head of things that were going to happen. So, I have had this gift, and, but really what it is now, I've kind of waited all my life, from then, back in the late 60s, 70s, to now. And I've been waiting my whole life to be able to have this opportunity to come out of my shell and say the things that I have been saying, because as well as I do, if I was to say this even, I was saying it 10 years ago, and people, I just got ostracized. But I want to say to the soul families and my soul tribe that's out there, you're not connected. You may be connected to your families in a bloodline situation, but you're not connected to them in a soul tribe or in a soul line situation. Your soul line and your bloodline are different. And you are witness to that, right? You are total. You have experienced this, since you were a child, or since you moved out and started disagreeing with, other members of your family, and now you have resonated to some, someone, other people, other soul tribe, and that's a spiritual connection. That's our soul family. Okay? I think everybody understands that. So you're going to be the ones, when all this breaks through, to be the one that will be the matriarch of your family if they should, do to choose to come back, or break out of their unconsciousness to, to ask questions and try to find answers. Now, unfortunately, there may be, in your families or friends or whatever, might be some reptilian DNA in them that is stronger than their human consciousness, and they will never come to. We have had also many people walk this world that are NPCs that have been basically programmed, have never had a soul experience, that are incapable of, understanding or, overstanding the things that we do, right? And these are the challenges that we're going to be faced here in the very, very near future. So I want everybody to, and as far as our people go and in our connection, I find that the females, from young to old, the females are much more in line to what I'm saying than the guys are. Now, I'm not saying I'm not demonizing the guys. Guys have got their role, but the women are the intuitives that I believe will, they understand this stuff a lot better and relate to it a lot better than guys do. And how it become to where I'm, the teacher is just that I've bounced all over the spectrum throughout my life. And, I have people that relate in, I came back to the East Kootenays. I mean, I did time in, all throughout the different countries, but, and then I spent time as when I was born and raised in Vancouver, and I went back there for the summer type thing and visit around and, met some of the old friends and stuff like that from school. And, there was only one guy that, was right in tune with what I was. Everybody's fed up with the situation, but I found that coming back to these Kootenays, I had much more, I felt like this was home for me because of not just my environment, but it was the people that, I had, we had, this is the people that I had gone through all these tough times with, from the 2016 to now. And I felt that this was the best place to be when all this breaks forward. Okay. Let's get on with something else here. I have been saying the matrix that we're in, and everybody's in. Oh, before I get to that, sorry about that. Before I get to that, Alberta just voted 53 to 47 for independence. So it looks like they're a breakaway. And I had mentioned to a couple people, well, you don't have to move into Alberta, or you maybe just, get a place. I mean, maybe get some people together. This is how I would do it. Get some people together and maybe rent a place there or have an address and then just go down and renew your license for Alberta. You can stay wherever you are in Canada, but have that as, using that address as your, whatever you want. You can have your mail come here or there, or wherever it is, but as long as you have that driver's license, saying Alberta on it, and it doesn't cost anything, you could just, you hand it in to them and you say, I moved into Alberta, this is my address, and they'll just change it over, and it's a done deal, right? So, and you just say, well, I live in two places, I live in BC and I live in Alberta and whatever. But that's why here, that way now you're connected inside the independence of what's coming. And that's basically Alberta's breaking away from the system. Okay? They're breaking away from this terrible cabal run controlled system. They're the ones that are breaking away. Now, this is basically, you want to stick it to the system. This is the way to do it. And, you can still hold on, to whatever investments or, assets you got here, wherever you may be, Saskatchewan, Alberta, or Saskatchewan or Manitoba or Ontario, BC, wherever. But basically what it does, and, has told them that, and it goes on to their data, their database on how many Canadians are moving into Alberta. And, of course, you're wanting to be independent from the sorcerer, the cabal, and that has spellbound us all our lives inside Canada. And that's what the states are doing right now. They're becoming very independent states, trying to basically break free from the cabal. And, red states, blue states, whatever you want to call them. But, Canada doesn't recognize that. We just, we recognize our provinces as provinces. And, but some of these provinces are much slower and much more controlled by the cabal than, say, Alberta. Danielle Smith has taken the lead and, is going to probably be the first province to break that border down. And wouldn't you like to be a part of that? If they start receiving the U.S. Treasury note, which they will, which is now a gold-backed Treasury note, who's to say if it's not going to hit BC? I don't know. But I'm just telling you, it seems like Alberta's running lead right now. They are running point on this. And those Albertans will receive, if they become independent, they will receive the U.S. Treasury note, and that makes all of your money that you have, cash or whatever, in your banks, and you can get a bank account there because once you got the license right, you can keep something in there, whatever. But, but it'll make their money 40% more valuable on the world stage, the way it is right now. Eventually all the cash will become 1-to-1, but, who's to say when that's going to happen, right? Now, I have, made my moves years ago to break away from the matrix. I can go back into Alberta, which I know I spent, 22 years of my life there. So I know every town that's there. So, I've spent 11 years in Edmonton, and then approximately another 11 years in Calgary. And I think, 2 of my children are born there. So, Alberta has this independence thing going on. And of course, there's 53% of them are saying independence now. So that is basically a vote to separate. And so what's going to happen? They're going to be independent. And then what does that, does that make it to a point where they shut down the border between BC and Alberta, or Saskatchewan and Alberta, and you have to cross a border to get into your otherwise used to be a province, but now is a state? We have to look at all these factors, family. We have to look at all these factors in order to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves and our family and our loved ones, right? I've made my moves, like I said, I made my moves a long time ago. I have, a family. Most of my kids are they're everywhere, right? And I've got one child in Cairo, Egypt, doing modeling and stuff like that. But they're all kind of adapted. They're all part Filipino, right? Because that's what their mother was, and even the second mother. So. This is what I'm saying is they have different homelands that they can go back to and apply because based on their bloodline, right? So all I'm saying is that we have to prepare ourselves for what's about to happen. And I wish I could, I'm going to try to get the last of it in here. The system to get out of it, stop using PayPal, stop using credit cards, stop using any, even the ATMs, except do not do tap cards, okay? Just go back. If you need money, just go down to the bank and push it, use the bank, whatever. I know it's not convenient. Keep nothing in the bank. And if you have to pay a bill, take the cash down and put it in the bank and then pay the bill that way. It's an inconvenience, but I'm going to I'm going to do a second video here because this is extremely important about the breaking free of what we have been up against that keeps the chain around your neck. And I'm going to tell you how to break that chain, okay? Anyways, my time's up on this one, and I'll move on to another second video here shortly. Bye now.